Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and these are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50 plus years. So let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to Lion Tales. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and I am a director on the board of the Alumni Association at Nassau Community College and a proud graduate. I am here to celebrate the successes of our alum, and together we will share stories that will uplift, inspire, and often amuse you. Each week, I will introduce you to the alumni of Nassau Community College, interested in sharing their experiences while attending the college and the secrets to their success. Look for many new and exciting events on the Alumni Association social media pages and share any exciting news with us on Facebook, Instagram, or on our webpage at ncc.edu/alumni. Or find me on X at Dr. Lynnda Nadien. The lion is the mascot for Nassau Community College. The lion is associated with balancing power, intention, physical strength, and grace. Our alum possess these same characteristics and symbolize courage, nobility, royalty, strength, stateliness, and valor. Lions are a symbol of royalty, and all of our alum contribute to the beauty of our college society. Lions are typically decisive, confident, and natural leaders who are focused on achieving their goals. The lion's roar is his symbol of strength, of leadership, of pride. Together, we are Lion Tales. Today, I would like to welcome to Lion Tales Destany Samuel, class of 2023. Destany Samuel received her degree in fashion design. She is a radio host, DJ, producer, creative director, and songwriter. Destany is interested in astrology, human design, communicating with people of various cultural backgrounds. She loves to sing, dance, and create. She is a true artist, bursting with talent and willing to share her talents with the world. Welcome to Lion Tales, Destany Samuel, class of 2023.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So tell us about your decision to attend Nassau Community College.
Well, honestly, Nassau wasn't on my top list. I didn't have much information surrounding it because a lot of my teachers in high school really pushed four-year colleges and Ivy League schools. And personally, it never really fully resonated with me. It just always felt like there was a disconnect when it came to four-year colleges and Ivy League schools. Number one being that I wasn't really much of a school person. I really loved the social aspect of it and the creative aspect of like certain classes and subjects that I took. But when it came to like math and stuff and having to take all those classes in one sitting, it was too much for me.
Yeah. And so pre-pandemic, you were here?
No, pre-pandemic, I was actually a senior in high school.
Okay. So when you were a senior in high school, when you were thinking about this, it just led you to Nassau.
Yes. Well, it was really funny how it happened. So, my last year, I was able to get connected with a fashion mentor, and we were talking and stuff, and she brought up Nassau. She was actually an alumni with Nassau Community College. She was in the fashion design program, and she was like, yes, try out Nassau. And I was like, okay. I didn't look into it yet. About 2-3 days later, two counselors from Nassau came to my high school, and they came to one of our, the events we were having where a bunch of colleges came and were speaking to us, and they were talking about Nassau, all the different, extracurricular activities they had, the programs they provided. Excuse me. They didn't bring up fashion or music. I had asked them if they had that program, and they said yes. And I asked them, is it hands-on? They were like, they're not sure, but they gave me all the information to look into it. And when I did, I got so excited. And that's how I knew that Nassau was for me, because of how excited that I got when reading about it.
Yeah, that's really incredible too, because I think that a lot of recruitment is usually done at the college fairs, and Nassau will come. And, you know, a lot of people, we don't want them to be intimidated because it's a community college and they feel so much pressure to go to the 4-year right away, but it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think community colleges can be that stepping stone. So initially coming into Nassau, what was that like?
So it was very interesting because I didn't come in physically. I entered through Zoom because of the pandemic. So, like I said, my senior year, the last few months of my senior year, COVID happened around March. So I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. But the counselors that came to my school, they kept in contact with me through the ending of my senior year up until my first, time coming to Nassau, through Zoom. But yeah, the experience via Zoom was very challenging, but I promised myself that I would get through it and focus, and I will make sure that I made the best of it so that I can do what I have to do and graduate. Yeah,
I think people were surprised that with the adversity and the confusion of it, that if you persevered, that you really could get through it. Mm-hmm. And I think people surprised themselves at what they were able to do on their computer and to keep the classes going and to kind of support your classmates. And, when you saw them on Zoom every week, those are probably the only people that you were probably seeing. Now, who inspired your passion for fashion design?
Oh, and that's a good question. Honestly, I was just trying new things out. I wasn't really sure or confident on my decision to take that path of fashion design. I actually did have a few friends and peers in high school who were part of a fashion design program at the high school, and they did fashion shows and everything. And I would watch in like admiration, not really in a mindset that I wanted to pursue that career. It was just, that's really cool that you can do stuff like that and create clothes. And a couple of months later, when thinking about what I wanted to do, because when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a cardiovascular surgeon. Oh, that changed quickly. Yeah. But as I just sat and I watched I always watch a lot of movies and follow a lot of celebrities and fashion designers, and just watching them be able to create ideas from their experiences inspired me to take that route further on. Yeah.
And were you actually doing it, drawing, designs out?
Yes, I was. It's funny because the first time I designed something, my mentor said, okay, she gave me an assignment to design a look, a spring wear look. And I said, okay. I went home, I designed it, I came back to the school, and she asked my counselor asked her, is she going to be okay? Is she going to be able to do this? Because the design was horrible. But I was just trying different things. And I was laughing because whenever I look back at the book to look at the design, I was like, girl, you came a long way. But it just really took a lot of practice and determination and focus to go from really crappy designs to more sophisticated and precise, clean, and well thought out designs.
Yeah. Is there actually a formula to doing that when you are learning how to get your ideas down on paper?
There is. So, what do they call it? Instructors tell you to make mood boards. So when you start off with a collection, you make a mood board, you take a bunch of pictures that really, relate to whatever feeling you want to show in your designs. So you create a mood board like that, a couple of pictures you put together. Then you create a color board to show what colors do you want your fabrics to be. And then from there, you have to create these croquis. They're called croquis, like the human bodies on the paper.
Oh, right.
9 heads. I never do that. I just download a croquis from offline and then draw on the body like that because it's much quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the formula. You create your mood board, your color board, and then you just start sketching whatever comes to mind and just be creative and go with the flow.
Do most fashion designers have the ability to, sketch? Are they good at it?
Not everyone. See, and that's the thing about fashion design that I learned in school is that a fashion designer doesn't have to know how to sketch. Really, you don't really have to. All right, maybe not know how to sketch. You should know how to sketch, but you don't have to do it. You can have someone else do it for you.
Right.
Some fashion designers like to sew more than they like to draw. Some like to draw more and sketch designs more than they like to sew. That's me. I do not like sewing at all, but I had to sew to get through the course and graduate. But my teacher, she helped me realize that I didn't like sewing because I would be so I don't want to do this. And she would be like, see, you do really good with coming up with the designs and sketching it out. And she said, she told me maybe you would be better as a creative director and just designing and drawing things out. And I was like, you might be right.
That's true. Yeah, there's always like something for everyone on the team. Because I think if you are the creative director and you have people on your team that can do those other things, that brings all of that to life.
Exactly.
So describing your, favorite form of self-expression when it comes to designing on a page, like what do you like to, what type of clothes would you really like to design or accessories?
The type of clothes that I really like to design is, of course, women's wear. I really love women's wear. And it's like a mixture of like chic, not really streetwear. It's like chic, but also business wear as well. And it's very like sexy. I like to make clothes for people who like to feel good about themselves and show a little skin. I like to show skin sometimes.
Right. So, like I like a lot of V-neck.
Yes.
And for some reason, everything's like a kind of a crew neck. But I'm like, if I did it myself, I have that little scissor with the the crimping thing. And I'm always like cutting my shirts and everyone says, oh, did you make that? And I'm like, well, kind of.
Right. I just altered it a little bit. Yes, I love V-necks too. I love V-necks, cowl necks, the ones that droop really down low, halter necks, and backless shirts. I love it. I love it all.
You are listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Destany Samuel, class of 2023. So what courses inspired you to express yourself, through the arts?
I would say draping and design. Draping and design is where you take fabric and you just like drape it, really just make any shapes you want on a mannequin and just go with the flow. There's no patterns required or anything. Like I really like that because I still use it today. Like I'll take a piece of fabric and just drape it along my body, pin it together so that it could fit my form exactly. Another course that I really enjoyed is fashion history because it shows you the foundation of fashion and how it evolved from like the 1800s, 1700s up until now, and how fashion tends to kind of repeat itself.
Yeah.
So I find that really interesting. I really love that. Another course that I really enjoyed was fashion illustration. All of the courses, because I think it was like 1, 2, and 3. The first 2 was a lot of hand drawing things. The class that I really enjoyed, though, was the one where we did a lot of drawing on the computer.
Yeah.
I love the digital designing because you can do absolutely anything with that, with Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and Photoshop.
Yeah. And now with the iPad, even a lot of like illustrators who are writing books are using that now, where they used to do all of their illustrations by hand. Now everything had to be converted onto the digital platform and using the pencil. Do you find that? Would you rather have a sketchbook or do you like the iPad, or can you do both?
I do both.
Yeah.
I do because sometimes, I don't want to say it's weird, but I just have a thing with me where sometimes I can't really draw on the iPad or on the computer. I really need to hold a pencil and just draw and erase and draw and erase. So
Now, do you carry a sketchbook with you and pencils with you or things with you in case something comes up that inspires you?
I used to, but sometimes if I don't have my pen and pad on me, I'll just go on my phone and go on PixArt and draw something really quickly. Because our phones are with us everywhere.
Right.
So I just utilize that.
Yeah.
If I don't have the pencil or and pad.
Yeah. And then in notes, you could write something that you may have seen.
Ooh, you should see my notes.
Yeah.
It is filled with a bunch of drawings and like typed out ideas like, oh, do this, do that when you get home.
Yeah. When you look at other people's fashion and, let's say in, New York City, for example, because we live close to the city, Fashion Week and everybody's coming out to see all these designers. Like, what are you looking for when you see things like that? What do you think is like a cool way to express?
What I really like is very abstract and extravagant shapes with people's designs. You see everyday clothes with, regular shirts and stuff like that. But when people's designs like stick out and it's like 3D, very odd shapes and curves, I really like that because people are really playing with the complexities of design and how far you can go and the possibilities of what you can do when it comes to clothes. So I really like abstract designs and shapes.
And looking at women's bodies and, even from a cultural perspective, there may be certain cultures where women are more busty or on the thinner side. How do you sort of make your accessories and your clothing culturally responsive so that any woman could wear it or any man could wear it?
That's a good question. How to make it like inclusive for everyone?
Yes.
Well,
or you know how sometimes they have like a shirt and anyone could wear it, which is like, oh, you know, it used to be, well, that's a boy shirt, that's a girl shirt. Oh no, that's not, you know. So I think that that's so interesting because can we really wear whatever we want, sort of?
And the thing is, you really can wear whatever you want, even if it doesn't really compliment you that well. Like, people wear whatever you want as long as you feel good in it, and that's all that matters. Now, when it comes to creating clothes that are inclusive for everyone, I think it's important when you're designing from the get-go, when you have like from the paper, that you're designing with different size mannequins, like from very small and petite to more plus size and curvaceous. I think that's important because you can see what works and what doesn't. And I know in the industry, people tend to focus on smaller models because they say that it's more cost efficient. But I feel like sometimes you just have to go the extra mile to make sure that everyone feels heard and seen and appreciated.
Yeah. And for the most part, I would say the average person is probably not in a very small size.
Exactly.
And a lot of the really expensive designer clothes are so narrow and small that you might buy it because you love the designer, but it won't fit you the way that it would because of your, you know, the way that your body is.
Right. And half the time, the small people that they have in the clothes can't even fit the clothes either.
Yeah.
It's too small for them.
Now, when it comes to accessories, which are really cool. I mean, that's something that, you know, there's so many things, wallets and pocketbooks and backpacks. Right. What is your feeling about accessorizing and creating things like that?
I think accessories is one of the most important parts of fashion because it can take your outfit to the next level. Like, you can put on a very formal top, but if you unbutton it a certain way and put on a couple layers of jewelry and rings and earrings, now you look streetwear. You look very, you know, cool.
Yeah.
It's all about, definitely accessories are very important to pocketbooks, purses, necklaces, glasses.
Yeah. And then, you know, when you look at the internet now, even if you're trying to purchase something, if let's say you're looking at a shirt, then it would say, you know, complete the look.
Yes.
And so then.
And they put it together for you.
Yeah. And they kind of like get you to see, oh, you know, that could totally work for you.
Yes.
I think that's good too because it helps. Well, it sells a lot because then everyone's going to want to buy the whole outfit.
Yes.
And so now, do you have a brand?
No, actually, I don't. I don't think that I will have a brand anytime soon. What I really am focusing on is creative direction in the fashion industry and also in the music industry as well.
Yeah.
So like, if someone has a brand already and they need help taking their brand's design to the next level, then I'll be open to doing that. But as far as like making my own brand, not now, not yet.
And so now you also, you know, working at the radio station at WHPC, can you tell us a little bit about your role at the station and why that's important to you?
So at WHPC, here at WHPC, I am the assistant to the station manager. And I program and produce the 6 a.m. morning shows, well, the 6 a.m. Nassau mix shows, as well as the Nassau Morning Madhouse, which is our morning show here. And I think that it's such a beautiful role that I feel like is preparing me for having my own business because you have to be able to communicate and work with many different types of people, whether you have chemistry or not so much. And I feel like it really prepares you for the real world. And knowing how to communication and being able to problem solve is very important, especially in a role like this, because if the person in charge isn't here, you have to make sure you know what to do to solve any problems that may come up. You have to be a problem solver. You have to be very understanding, but you also have to be very firm too, to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do. So I really appreciate and love this position. And I love being able to learn from people and being able to teach people too, anything that they need help with and things of that nature.
Right. And because you're dedicated and inspired to do it, do you feel that that is something that you sort of lead by example when you're working with, a lot of students here that are doing internships and you were a former student?
Yes.
So how do they respond to you in that way?
At first, they don't know that that I work here. They think that I'm a student too. But when we talk, or they hear our station manager Sean ask me for something, or say, "Oh, go to Destiny because they're like, "Oh, you work here?" I'm like, "Yes." And they was like, "You would never know because you're so down to earth. Like, you're not like trying to micromanage or be like the boss of people. Like, I'm just myself. And in the event that I have to be firm, I'll be that and you'll know. But I don't feel the need to really like pressure or show my teeth to show that, oh, I have this position. You're going to know one way or the other."
That's great.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about, I guess, your approach to production, including, music, what are some of the challenges? Because I think the artists that are creating the music, that's one thing, but to produce some of these segments and, working on your own music, that's something that I find to be really challenging. And it's sort of amazing that it can be done, but producing from the back is really a lot for a person to do. What is your approach to, finalizing a production and what your expectations are?
Well, first, when it comes to producing and finalizing things, I think it's important to a plan. So I'm a huge planner and writing things out step by step so that I can see it like laid out in front of me. Because if I just try to go into something, it's not going to get done. I might get frustrated and this is that and a third. So yes, I'm a big planner. Now, when you're saying producing, do you mean music production or producing at the station? Because those are two different things.
Yeah, I think both.
Okay. So when it comes to music production, it's really a go with the flow kind of thing. I think sometimes you can get lost when it comes to making your own music, because with social media and having a lot of people doing things like you may start to try to compare yourself. And I used to do that a lot. And I had to tell myself, you don't have to be perfect, and people don't want the same thing over and over. People are craving uniqueness and individualism.
Right.
So just go with the flow and do what feels good for you when it comes to producing music or just producing anything. When it comes to producing things for the radio station, like liners or shows and things like that, once again, go with the flow. I only pick, when it comes to doing the morning show or just the Nassau mix, I only pick stories that resonate with me and that feel good. And I also analyze my co-hosts too. I listen to what they say and I listen to what their interests are, because I pick my stories based off that too.
Yes.
I'll know what stories and what topics will be good and what games will be good for what shows and what shows not to do it on, because I know what type of response I'm going to get from them. So I think it's really important to, when you're working with people, to know who you're working with, pay attention to them, and mold it so that, whatever you're doing on the show, it flows seamlessly. You
were listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Destany Samuel, class of 2023. So describe Serving Sounds and what you've accomplished, thus far in your DJ career, because that's a big part of the work that you're doing.
Yes. So Serving Sounds and Consulting is my DJ service business that is only catering to, music providing and providing DJ services. I created the business back in 2022 of October. I really want to take, and really am taking, DJing very seriously.
Yes.
I want to DJ internationally and nationally across the United States. And I know that I want to bring other people on with me when it comes to, DJs that are still finding their way and learning. Just having a collective and a foundation to where people feel seen and helped and feel like they have a platform to help them evolve in their career. It's important. So I created that. Serving Sounds and Consulting. Right now it's only me, and the experience has been really fun. It's like, it doesn't really feel like work because I'm doing something that I love. And with the business, I'm able to experience different people from different backgrounds with different type of music interests. So my music palette is constantly growing.
Yeah, that's great when you get to learn a new artists and songs and things that you're like, oh, I didn't even know that.
And genres.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And that people So do you book weddings and parties?
Yeah,
How does that work?
With my first wedding was last year in the fall in September. That was really cool. I actually DJ'd. I created the bride's wedding dress, and I creative directed the entire theme of the wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was really cool. When it comes to weddings or big parties where it's like a long ceremony, you have to get with the people and they sit down with you and run through the itinerary. But how they book me is word of mouth.
Yes.
So a lot of the DJ gigs that I get, it's just from me having a conversation with someone, a normal conversation, and I'll bring up that I'm a DJ, and somehow, some way, someone either is in need of a DJ in that moment, or they know someone who is, or they'll just be like, oh, I'll take your information for the future, and then they reach out to me. So that's how I get a lot of my gigs.
That's great. I mean, a lot of things by word of mouth and networking and connections. And you described Nassau Community College as being your support system.
Yes.
So explain that.
Nassau is actually my first huge clientele when it came to DJing. They were booking me a lot for a lot of events, and the only reason why they knew that I DJ'd is because, once again, I brought it up during a meeting somewhere, and they were like, oh, we need a DJ. And they've been very supportive, even with graduating. Whenever challenges arise in classes, I could go to certain guidance counselors or administrators, and they'd guide me through it to make sure that, I got through whatever I was going through and kept pushing through so that I can graduate.
Absolutely. Now, you have many talents and attributes that, will lead you to success and moving forward as even as a new graduate. It's a lot of different fields that are merging together.
Yes.
So do you want to do it all?
Now, for sure, I do not want to be a fashion designer. I realize that. What I want to do, like I said, is definitely creative direction, but fashion design is what I went to school for. But thankfully, it leads right into creative direction. When I graduated for my internship, I was able to get an assistant creative direction internship. And so from there, I was like, this is really what I want to do. And I enjoyed it, so I kept going. Now, not fashion design. Definitely not. That's not for me. But everything else, it feels like it's coming together. So I definitely want to do anything where I'm able to express myself creatively and just be myself and flow. That's for me.
Yeah. And now, so how would our listeners contact you?
You can contact me through Instagram. My Instagram page is at 11xNINE, and you can also contact my business email if you have any upcoming gigs and you want to book me. I'm always open to that. You can contact me at contact@servingsounds.com.
Can you do direct messages on Instagram? I'm still learning how to do it.
Yeah, you can. Sometimes Instagram does this thing where they won't let you send multiple messages at once. So you can only send one message, and they're like, you have to wait for the person's invite. So yeah, definitely direct message me, and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can.
That's really amazing. I would like to thank our guest today, Destany Samuel, class of 2023. And again, you can contact her on Instagram. We thank you for being here today, Destany Samuel.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you for being our guest today. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and I serve as a director on the board of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association, and I am a proud alum. Lion Tales is available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. More information is online at nccradio.org. Thanks for listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.